We're just going to take a quick look at what I think we're doing market-wise concerning A, the dollar, and B, the general outlook for the market. What I seem to be hearing at the moment is that we have a dollar sell position going on at the moment, which everyone keeps telling me that the dollar is definitely in a bit of a downtrend, and we're going to see the dollar trade lower over the coming months, which I personally don't agree with. I think what we're seeing at the moment is a return to the lower end of the dollar ranges across the board, initially driven by the China-US trade situation and obviously currency devaluations, or whether it is a devaluation or whatever. But what I'm looking at personally is just the fact that we are back to the weaker end of the dollar's range. Every time we get to this weaker end, everyone keeps saying to me that, oh, that's it. So it looks like it's definitely going there. It looks like the charts look like they're building up for a move lower. But the trouble is, that's exactly what it is. It looks like it. It doesn't actually, well, it hasn't come about over the last 2 or 3 times this has happened. And I think what we're seeing is exactly what we've seen before. The markets have just bottom end of the range, and that's where we are. The China-US ongoing trade talks are getting a little bit drawn out, and I'm not 100% sure if we're going to see if the US are going to do very much in response to the China devaluation. I'm sure there'll be some repercussions in the tariff side of things, but personally, I don't think we're going to be escalating much further than we are. I'm of the thought that Trump is really, he wants these trade talks to work, and he wants to see a good relationship with that part of the world, which I'm sure will happen, but there's a bit of scaremongering going on currently. What this is doing is it seems to be taking a lot of the focus away from the situation in, well, I'd say the UK, but it's actually a situation in the UK and in Europe. Obviously, with the Brexit situation going on and the closer we're getting to the end of October, we've had a small respite lately due to the US tensions. For me personally, I'm looking at sterling at the moment, and we're currently trading about 121.60, 70, something like that when I left the office this morning. But I do think, same again, we're the bottom end of sterling's sort of recent range over the last year and a half. And also, what I do think is that there's a possibility that sterling will remain weak going into the end of October, and in fact into Brexit. But what I do expect is that after we do leave the European Union, I expect there to be maybe 1 or 2 days where sterling does still remain under pressure. But typical of sterling, I'd suggest that sterling will rally once we actually leave the block. So for me at the moment, that all aims and looks to me like we still see a higher dollar generally, maybe not in the next month or so, but I do think that we will return to a stronger dollar situation. And yeah, and I think the dollar is set for some higher moves over the coming medium to longer term.